everybody, and welcome to today's episode of This Organized Life podcast. I'm your host, Lori Palau. And if you're watching or listening to this in real time, we are about 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out from Christmas. So hope you're getting in the holiday spirit. So excited to have you here and share today's guest with you. So joining me is somebody from my own team, and I love sharing my SBO team with all of you. So in the co-host seat today is my friend and my social media manager, Kimberly Herman. And I'm going to bring her out in a second, but a little bit about Kimberly. She's a social media maven guru. She's a mom, 3 girls. She's a fellow Enneagram 8. And today we're going to talk all about fridge organization. Sounds like it might be a boring topic, but when I sat down to start writing out things, there was a lot of information out there. And I think it's actually going to be chock full of nuggets of wisdom. And so to make this conversation even more fun, I'm going to bring my friend Kimberly out to the show. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. Take this one out.
Oh, I know. I always like to have one headphone in when we're recording. It's easier. So, Kimberly, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Do you want to come? So, fun fact, everybody, Kimberly, if you watch us on YouTube, Kimberly does all the editing for video, where Don does all the audio. Kimberly does the video. So she is always behind the scenes with our podcast plus, because she runs social media for Simply Be Organized and This Organized Life. She knows all about our guests and all the things, but this is the first time that she is actually on the front side of the camera. So welcome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. So tell our listeners a little bit about you. Gave them an overview, but.
Okay. Well, I'm a mom of 3 girls, like Lori said. My oldest is 12. So she's right in that in-between stage of life. It's a good time. And then I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, all girls. It's a crazy busy time, but we make it work. I started my business. She writes in social media about 1.5 years ago. And it's just been booming ever since. And I'm in the co-host seat today with Lori. So lots of fun.
And you can't have her people because she's mine, but she is the best. And how I was trying to think back. So you've been with our team from since May? When did you?
Since May. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you've been in forever.
I feel like it's been, and not in a bad way. I feel like it's been a longer time, it's a good time.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny when I was just thinking I probably should have had you on for the hand-me-downs episode. Did you listen? Well, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I was editing it. I was like, cause we just did an episode for those of you who maybe like skip around, or if you're new to our show, we just did an episode on hand-me-downs, what to keep, what not to keep, how much to keep, how to store it, all the things. And as a mom of 3 girls, I'm sure hand-me-downs are a big thing in your household.
They are a big thing in our household. Yes. They're a little bit, they're getting a little bit different now. Their styles are changing a little bit. So hand-me-downs won't really be a thing soon because they're all kind of different sizes, but here and there, sweatshirts and jammies and things like that will pass down, but
gotcha.
But today, I'm a thrifter.
Yes, we were talking about that, which is great.
Yes. Great. I don't usually pay full price for clothes for them. I usually go to a nice thrift store and thrift things. So
that's awesome.
Works out.
New for them.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Love it. All right. But we're going to talk today about fridge organization. And I actually, it's funny. So I was writing my list, and poor Kimberly, this is how we roll here, people. I was like, would you like to be my co-host on fridge organizing? She's like, sure. I said, I want you to come up with 5 tips that you use for your fridge. And that was it. That's all the prompts she got. That's all the homework she got. I didn't even send her talking points.
Like, I'm ready.
I'm sure. I was not concerned in the least. Talk to me a little bit about your fridge. Like, what is it? Because you've got a lot of humans in your house.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of humans. I try to create zones in the fridge so that things are separated out. We have like a flex space, which is just sort of, it doesn't fit in another category. at the top. So we use that at the top. And then, we do leftovers on one shelf, eggs and like butter sometimes on another. And then we have a meal prep section and beverage section, fruit and veggies, and a dairy deli section. I try to keep the kids stuff down low so that they can reach it. So I'm not getting up 15 times, getting them a snack or whatever. But that's how I break my fridge down a little bit. The door, obviously it's condiments and like, I don't know, creamer.
They say you're not supposed to put like milk and stuff on the door, but I do. Okay. So I was looking, first of all, I was looking at statistics because, I'm a data nerd. So
I know.
I was like, because I obviously have opinions and I have some stories, some fun fridge anecdotal stories, which, I think I find entertaining and hope you guys do too. But I did want to read you guys this. So Johns Hopkins did a study and Americans spend $161.6 billion a year on food that goes to waste. I don't know if that's true, but I have it right here that Johns Hopkins did this study and I'm just in awe. Like that's a big number of wasted food. And I don't know what is your family like? I think a big thing also has to do with leftovers in fridges. So are you guys leftover people?
We are. We actually have one section in the fridge.
Oh, you said that. You did say
leftovers.
That.
Yeah. We do leftovers. Tonight's actually leftover night because Thursdays tend to be a little crazy for me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have leftovers tonight. And we have like, I just kind of sweep out that section and just heat everything up, and that's dinner. I hate wasting food. So if I can use it in some way, if it's like going bad, like for an example, fresh spinach tends to go bad quickly. So I'm like, maybe I can just saute that down and no one will notice. No one will notice that there's a little bruising and a little, Yes. That's what I do. I try to use every last little bit. And if I don't use it, I'll usually cook it for the dog.
That's good. That's good. How often? Okay. Do you have a leftover threshold in your household?
It's about 4 days for me. I will not eat food past 3 days, but 4 days for my husband because he's like, I'll eat it.
Okay. I'm going to tell you a real life conversation that happened this morning. Okay. We're recording this for context, people. We're recording this on Thursday, December 2nd. So a full week after Thanksgiving. Okay. I make a lot of my sides. I coast Thanksgiving and I make a lot of my sides. I prep it Wednesday night. So I will make my mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes Wednesday night so that all I have to do is heat them up on Thursday. So my mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes are over a full week old. They are in the fridge. And Josh said to me this morning, don't throw them away. I will eat them today for lunch. I think that's disgusting. I'm sorry. And there's not that much left. There's a little bit. What?
No, we don't do that. And I'm like, no, that's been in there for a week. We're done. That's it. Like stuff I cooked on Monday, today's the last day we can eat it. So that's why we're having leftovers tonight. Otherwise, it's not going to be eaten. It's gross to me.
Yeah. So we're clearly we're a leftover family too. Some people like my best friend, Michelle, like her husband will eat leftovers, but she doesn't eat leftovers. So it's like, and I'll go over there, for holidays or whatever, and just she just gives it away or it's going in the trash. And not that she wants to be wasteful, but she's like, I'm not going to store it up because how many people out there store it up saying I'm going to eat it and then never eat it. And it just takes up space. It's just fridge clutter is really what it winds up becoming.
Exactly. And I tend to open or empty out my fridge like every week. So if it's not cleaned out by the end of the week, like trash night, I'm what's going, So I clean it out every week because I don't like.
I do too. Okay. So here's a question though. So I call it like I do a fridge sweep, not a full deep clean. So I do like a sweep of, like you said, what leftovers didn't go, what
You know, is expired.
Bad, because we do a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, which have, no pun intended, they have a shelf life. Like they can't,
do.
So, that stuff I just do, but I don't necessarily take everything out and do like
No, I don't clean it. That's like once a month I deep clean the fridge.
That's a lot. That's good that you do that.
We have 3 kids. So they put things in there, or you know what they do that drives me insane is they'll come home at the end of the day with their cheese stick or their cheese that's been in their lunchbox all day and just throw it back in the fridge.
Oh
Why?
my gosh. Why? I'm going to throw Josh under the bus, but he doesn't listen to the show, so it's totally fine. So when my kids were in school, Josh was in charge of lunches. That was his thing. I despised making lunches. And so he didn't mind it. That was his thing. He was the one that would want to throw. I go, it's been sitting in a locker all day outside. Like, no, we're not. No.
And you don't know who's touched it. Maybe another kid touched it. Maybe they got it from a friend. Ugh. Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's going in the trash.
Exactly.
That is one exception to my wasting food. Like, nope. If you didn't eat it and it's not something that was cold.
Right. Well, and I start to notice, so I use this as data for patterns, right? So if you're giving your kids cheese sticks every day and every day they're now coming home with it. Because I don't know about your girls, but mine would be like, I love turkey. I hate turkey. Why are you giving me turkey? Right. So, and they don't tell you until you've gone to Costco and bought like the
big bag of
the case of, cheese sticks or yogurt or whatever it is. But then, so I started to notice a pattern. Okay. So every day you're coming home back with this. So are we not eating this? Are we over this? What's happening? Because I'm not going to keep wasting money on this stuff. So
that's what I do.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, you're not eating this cheese stick. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to eat it at school. Would you like to eat it at home? Or is this something you no longer like? Just tell me what it is so that, because Rob and I will eat the cheese sticks if, we have to. It's not my favorite thing, but if they're there and no one else is eating them, we'll eat them. So I always ask them, is this something you just didn't get to at lunch? What's the problem? Where are we going? Cuts down on my grocery bill if they're not eating something.
Exactly. Okay. So I have another question.
Yeah.
How do you store your leftovers? Do you have, I'll let you answer it.
No, you can.
I was going to give you a choice, but then I'm like, no, it can be an open-ended question.
I'm just going to tell you like it is, because that's just my Enneagram 8 coming out.
Yeah, it is.
Usually we store them in like a glass container because I don't really like plastic. I'll use it if that's all that's available, but I use glass containers, and that way we can reheat all in one fell swoop without having to put it in a container to reheat it or put it on a plate to reheat it. We can just reheat it right in the container that it's in. Yes. I'm all about simplifying the dishes too.
Yes, I agree. I too am a glass storage. I still call it Tupperware. Yeah. But like a glass Tupperware, and we have a nice set, and then and they nest really nicely, and the lids all match, and it makes me happy. Makes me very happy. Okay. So you want to hear a story?
Obviously.
Okay. So I have 2 fridge stories. I'm going to tell the one about my mother-in-law first. And it's great because I'm telling them about my kid and my mother-in-law, and neither one of them listen to the show. So it's awesome. So my mother-in-law lived with us for 5.5 months during COVID. And that was fun. It was actually fun. I joke. We had a few.
You're only a little traumatized.
We had a few like little rocky moments, but all in all, we all survived unscathed. But my mother-in-law likes to be busy. She likes projects, which is a good thing, right? She wants to be very helpful, but sometimes she creates projects that don't really need to be created. For example, my fridge. So my fridge was never cleaner than when she lived with us, because she would basically do a deep clean every week because she had nothing else to do. So that was like part of her chores that she assigned herself. I'm doing my chores is what she would say. Okay. But you assigned yourself these chores, just so we're clear. But I came down one day in between because I was working in my office. That was like my sanctuary. And I came downstairs and she had carpeted my refrigerator. I have pictures. Remind me, I'll send them to you and you can post them in
I
the
will.
podcast.
I will have to post them with
Okay.
this podcast because
Yes.
I'm having trouble imagining what that looks like.
So it is this green felt that is almost like, okay, so I've never used, a lot of people use this fridge coaster stuff. A lot of organizing friends talk about them. I personally have never used them, but I think this fridge coaster stuff has like an adhesive. So picture almost like a drawer liner, okay, that you would put in for like a dresser drawer, but it doesn't stick. It doesn't adhere to anything, but it was like a felt material. And it was green to look like vegetables, and it had vegetable patterns on it. So she carpeted, and I call it carpeting because it had like a felt texture to it, all of the shelves, and then cut them to go into the drawer inserts, like not the drawer, the door inserts. Okay. So then I had like oval ones or whatever for where the condiments were. But wait for it. That's not the best part. Because it didn't adhere, because it would slide around, she didn't like that. So she took packing tape and taped the carpet to the shelves of my refrigerator. I have images. I have images of this. Comments, questions, thoughts?
I just want to know how you got the packing tape residue off of your because that's not something that comes off easily, especially when it's cold tape. That's not going to come off.
That's a very, very wise question. And I'm going to tell you, there's still a few remnants in the back that I couldn't really access. So after she left, and by the time she left, and she did this sort of early on. So, the longer you let that adhesive stay, the harder it is. So it wasn't like I took it off right away. Like it had been on there for months. So when I did finally uncarpet my refrigerator, I used a mixture of Goo Gone to try to scrub it off, a non-metal scraper. I think one of those ones from the plastic ones from Pampered Chef or whatever. I use that. A lot of elbow grease with soap water and like an SOS pad. And I will say I got probably 95% of it. But if you look closely, there is still some scarring on my refrigerator.
Okay, mental note. Don't let mom organize fridge. Got it.
So
I got it.
Yeah, I just thought that was a fun anecdotal story.
Yeah. It is. I like that story.
And here's wait.
Can I cause you a little bit of stress?
But here's and wait for this. So, picture any condiment, anything, things like leek, right? So barbecue sauce, hot sauce, whatever, right? Mayonnaise, something get a little bit, but you could take a Clorox wipe or whatever your cleanser of choice and wipe down your refrigerator. Well, how are you wiping down felt?
Felt is for like projects. It's not for the fridge.
Yeah. So it was.
Felt is my least favorite material
next to glitter.
Oh yeah, glitter is not. We don't do messy play very much in our house, but that's a whole nother.
That's a whole other show. Episode. That is a whole other episode about messy play.
Yes,
absolutely.
That is.
Yes. All right. So I think this is probably a good time to take a quick break. When we come back, I have a list of my favorite tips, which I would love to share with you. And we'll carry on our conversation. So sit tight. If you're a professional organizer or have thought about becoming a professional organizer, but not sure where to start, you might want to check out our Sbo Partner Program. It's a community of professional organizers from all over the globe who are running their own independent companies, but looking for community and some business strategies on how to grow and scale their business. To learn more, visit simplybeorganized.com and click on the Work With Me tab. Okay, so now that we've shared my carpeted refrigerator story, I was thinking about in preparation for the show, some of the things that I do, which I think actually are very similar to you. I try to zone my fridge as well. I like to have, there are certain staples that we always have. We always have salad stuff. So that's kind of in one area. We have fruits and vegetables, leftovers. And in my house, we have Josh is a vegan. So that adds another layer into it because another layer of fun because, and I try to eat, a lot of times I eat plant-based stuff. Like I eat fruits and vegetables, but I don't eat, and with no disrespect, but I don't eat like that fake meat. And I don't eat, like he likes Impossible burgers and all that kind of stuff. I don't like that. So I have, a lot of times I'll cook in parts. And so I'll have stored parts, like this is the meat or this is chicken and this is the vegetable stock or whatever it is. So I use label rolls. I want to, you know what? I meant to have one handy and I didn't, but we could post it up.
I'll post it.
Yeah, I post a picture. So it's made by the people that make Post-its. And I use these all the time. They're great. Have you ever used a label roll before?
Yes.
Okay. So I love them. So it looks like a roll of Scotch tape and it comes in different colors. I usually just buy white or I buy green because it matches my branding, but the white's great. And I just keep it in my refrigerator and it is like tape. And I just tape it to the glass Tupperware. And I just say vegan mashed potatoes or whatever it is. Sometimes, occasionally, I really want to get micro, but because it doesn't usually stay for that long, I'll even put a date, but not rarely. Most times I just put like what it is. And I do that because obviously, so that people know, like, so that Josh doesn't accidentally take something that isn't vegan, but also this way people go, oh, I didn't know we had leftover this. Like it says it right there, even though it's in a glass container that people know what it is. So I like my label roll. I already talked about clear stacking containers like Tupperware, and you could buy them inexpensively. You don't have to spend a fortune. You could buy them on Amazon, Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, any of those places. You don't have to spend a fortune. And start cycling out. I'm like you, the plastics were great. Do you send your girls to school with glass Tupperware though?
I don't. I have like little plastic containers. They're not my favorite, but
yeah.
Glass is number one. It's heavy to carry around and
totally.
Kids are not.
And it's going to get thrown. No, they're not. They're not. I agree. I was just curious because when my kids were your kids' age, glass wasn't even as popular. We were all still using.
It wasn't even a thing, right? Like
it wasn't even a thing. But yeah, it is heavy, and especially when they're younger. Like I don't know how many utensils got thrown away in the lunchbox. Like because my kids were big yogurt kids, so I used to send them with a spoon and. Sometimes I wanted to be eco-friendly and not just do throwaway spoons. But then I'm like, you know what? They're throwing away my regular spoons anyway, and I have to replace them. So I might as well just use throwaway.
I buy spoons in the dollar store that they can go in their lunch. So I don't care.
That's good.
If they throw them out on accident.
That's smart. That's good.
I'd rather, if they're going to like a metal spoon, they're going to be like, oh, this isn't trash.
Yes.
So I try to do that, but
you would think they would say this isn't trash.
I'm still missing 3 forks from when we moved 2 years ago. So I'm pretty sure they're in the trash in the landfill somewhere.
Yes, I'm sure they are. Again, we talked about sweeping the fridge. And then, so do you transfer? Let me ask you, I have another question for you. Because a lot of people, especially if you are somebody that follows people on Instagram or Pinterest, you see all these beautifully curated refrigerators. Do you, aside from the leftovers, do you bin stuff? Do you use turntables like a lazy Susan in the fridge?
There's only a couple things I bin. I do bin the eggs only because I buy them in bulk in Costco, and lugging that thing around the 24 count is impossible. So I do have like a 12 egg container. I have 2 of those, and that just works a little bit better for us. The kids can lift it out of the fridge more easily. And the only other thing is like, for their snacks in the fridge, I try to like keep them in separate binge just so they can just grab and go. I don't really use the turntable. There's really no room in the fridge for a turntable. I put all my condiments on the shelf, so I just don't, or on the door. So I just don't know what I would use a turntable in the fridge for. I feel like it would just take up usable space that I'm not using it in that way. So
I know I've tried, and as an organizer, like I have tried, like, oh, why don't I put it in? Because
Right.
we watch our friends that are colleagues, and I'm like, let me try this. And I feel like I lose so much prime real estate doing it. So I am not, I'm not a fan either. Although I do have a couple of, and I bought them at like Home Goods. I used to have, it's like a skinny pull out, and I would put all the yogurts in there because stuff gets pushed in the back. So this way they could just like almost slide it out, and that would just keep them a little bit like kind of corralled and organized. And I usually do that in the bottom shelf, but everything else is just kind of zoned.
Yeah, I don't, it's like if you can't, I use it so that like the cheeses, because they don't all like the same cheese.
Mm-hmm. I know.
By different sheet, whatever. So I try to like their Baby Bells are in one spot and their cheese sticks and then the yogurts. But we have like a long wide drawer at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So like the deli stuff, I just move over and just section off each of their snacks in there. Works out well for us.
How do you section them off? Like, do you have a physical
there's
divider?
You
have like it's almost like a drawer divider in the drawer or in the.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yep.
Okay. I have another story.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Okay. So this one's about Zoe when she got her first apartment at college.
I think I've heard this before, but tell everyone else.
Okay.
I think you told me this before, but tell everyone else.
And if I told you guys on the show,
or maybe I heard it on the podcast. I don't know.
Maybe I did. So, my kids are, they've been drinking this Kool-Aid their whole life, for better or worse. And so your norm is your norm. Like, so if you grow up in a house that's constantly filled with clutter, you think that's normal. If you grow up in a house that's, organized, you think that's normal. So Zoe had moved into her first apartment and had FaceTime me and was like, Mom, or maybe she called me. I don't remember. She was like, Mom, I can't believe how messy my roommates are. Like there's just stuff everywhere. And I was like, it's fine. And she's like, you would not believe the fridge. And she goes, I don't know how they see anything. She was like freaking out. And Zoe's like very low key, like doesn't stress about anything. She's an Enneagram 9. She's like chill, like does not get like tightly wound about stuff like this at all. So she shows me a picture of this fridge. And I was like, it was just had a bunch of stuff shoved in it, but it wasn't old or expired or dirty. It just had like stuff randomly. It wasn't zoned. Let's put it that way. They just had all kinds of stuff. And I was like, that is probably how most people's fridges look. Like you have to recognize that our labeled fridge, that zone fruits and vegetables, snacks, what have you, is not the norm, air quotes. And she's like, really? And I said, yeah. And I said, your bar, your benchmark is totally skewed. So I said, here's, if you want to try to institute some organization in your fridge, I sent them each, because there was 4 of them at the time. There's 4 roommates. So I sent each one of them a big bin for the fridge, because it's like one of the older fridges, like top down fridge. So I said, everybody can have a bin and they can put their stuff in, and then you can have one communal shelf for stuff.
Right.
I doubt they even ever use them, but I sent them. But it was, the moral of the story is, it was just really funny what her threshold was for organization, and that she's like, I don't know how they're finding anything. Everything's going to get spoiled. And I think that also is a fact about, going back to that earlier conversation about the waste, is a lot of times if we put stuff in the fridge, why are we putting it there? If we're not going to remember it's there, if it's not easily accessible, easily retrievable, which is why we store anything, what's the point? So we need to figure out a way to do it. And that's, one of the things I hear from people a lot.
Yeah. I like my zoned fridge. It makes my life a little bit easier too. It's not something that I have to really think about anymore. It's like, oh, well, no, you put this in the wrong spot, but we're just going to move it. We're going to move it to the right spot. A lot of times my kids will like, they don't care. They're kids. I just put it in there. They have no like idea of what's going on,
But hopefully they do through muscle memory know when I want to go get a snack, the yogurts are here, the cheese sticks are here. Right. So they're still, chances are they're still going to ask you to some extent, but it's just like I do this
accessible to them. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Can we change topics for a second? I know this is a show about fridges, but I don't know how much more we can really exhaust the conversation.
Talk about fridges?
Yeah. I want to talk about your Enneagram 8-ness.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Okay. So
what do you want to know?
Well, describe to everybody who doesn't know how would you describe an Enneagram 8? And I want to know how it plays into your role with clutter.
Okay. Well, I guess to describe it, it would be something like sort of a take charge, tell it like it is. I probably have an opinion about that kind of personality. And I usually always have an opinion about something, and I'm not afraid to tell you what it is. I have no filter, zero filter. And I guess the way that plays into clutter is growing up. My mom is a big clutter person. She has a lot of things. So I guess that also plays a role into me. I just need things to be neat and organized and put away. Otherwise, it kind of makes me not feel good and happy about myself. I don't know what else.
No, that's good. And I put you on the spot and
no, that's okay.
And as a fellow Enneagram 8, I can attest to this. And for those of you out there who have some Enneagram knowledge or have gone through our course or anything. So Enneagram 8s are in the gut triad. So we remember there's 3 centers of intelligence: thinking, feeling, and doing. And Enneagram 8s lead first with their gut. We're doers, which would make sense why we're that take charge, get it done type of person. And our least access center is feeling, which would also make sense with our filters, because again, we're about like efficiency and getting it done, and feelings don't always intentionally play into that because we are trying to get done the task and get it done well. So I don't know for you, I know for me, I don't struggle with a lot of emotional clutter. Again, not that I have said, but I'm wondering how that is for you.
No, I don't have a lot of emotional clutter. There are things like from when the kids were little that I've kept.
Sure.
But it's like little things. They're, like the romper they all wore or whatever. But I don't really, it's like, well, this doesn't mean anything to me. I'm out. I'm throwing it out or giving it away, or, it's something. I'm a good purger because I'm just like, well, I haven't worn this in 6 months and I'm not going to wear it again, or I'm not that size anymore and I don't need to be hanging on to it, so, meaningful stuff. I have a hard time with that. The drawings they bring home that are great and cute, I'd rather just take a picture of it than hang on to it. I just kind of throw things away. I don't have a feeling for objects and for like hanging on to things that, I don't even have baby books for the kids.
Oh, okay. I have baby books for my kids.
I do not.
I don't know. Do people still do it? I don't know. I'm old and my kids are old.
I did one for my oldest and I wrote in it for about a month after she was born. And I was like, everything's in pictures now.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. It's everything is chronicled. Every moment I feel like of your kids.
So it's like, I don't need a baby book. I can just look at the pictures and, oh, this is,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of emotional clutter.
Do you struggle with calendar clutter? Do you find that that's an area that you,
sometimes, but I've gotten really good at like blocking out my schedule. So,
okay.
Like, oh, nope, that's not time for that. I'm not, so I would say I probably primarily have physical clutter because there are things that just like, I tried to just like throw it out really quick, but doesn't always happen. Like we were talking on our partner retreat about my closet situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that I did kind of take care of that, but there's
Well,
definitely.
I'm going to be taking a road trip. So I'm going to be taking a road trip to visit Kimberly.
I got rid of the bulk of it because and I did it mostly because my grandma was coming. Otherwise, I really just would have left it.
Well,
because
again,
it's one of those things where it's like, I will get there. Maybe it is calendar clutter then, because it's like, I'll get there. I just don't have time for that right now. So maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't figured that out yet.
All right. Well, we're all work in progress. So
yeah, I'm not perfect, although I'd like to think I am.
Well, that's a little bit of that Enneagram 8. I love it. All right. We're going to take one more quick break and then we're going to come back and I'm going to just put you in the hot seat for our wrap up questions, which are coming. So
I do. I'm ready for them.
You're ready? All right. So sit tight and we will be right back. How many of you have ever thought, I have absolutely nothing to wear, even though you're staring at a rack filled with clothes? If that's you, you are absolutely not alone. I dreaded shopping. I dreaded the thought of shopping until I met my friend, Jeannie Stithma-Winnie, who's the founder of Your Color Guru. Your Color Guru looks at your personalized style, hair color, eye color, complexion, and helps match what color schemes look best for you. So instead of sitting there buying things that you think are going to look good or that you hope look good, Jeannie actually allows you to shop freely within the guise of saying, these are the colors that make you look your best, which quite frankly, who doesn't want to look their best? So she put together a special coupon code for This Organized Life listeners. And I can tell you that I've been getting tons of thank you notes from people saying this has completely revolutionized how they shop and allowed them to make smarter choices when they are going to, whether it's online shopping or in-person shopping. So I encourage you to check this out. Visit her website, Your Color Guru, and she gives a special promo code to all This Organized Life listeners. Just punch in the code Organized Life and you can get 10% off your consultation. I am telling you, it is a game changer. It was a game changer for me, and it is a game changer for all of the people who I know have been working with her for the past 2 years. So definitely check it out. And when you talk to her, make sure that you tell her that I sent you. Okay, Kimberly. So our final questions. And that was the first thing when I asked her. When I asked her if she wanted to be my coach, she goes, oh, now I have to think of a book. But you know the questions.
I thought of a couple books. I thought of a few.
So what book has been inspirational to you, transformative, would you recommend for all of our listeners out there?
Okay. Well, I'm not a huge nonfiction person. It's just, for me, it's a little bit dry.
It doesn't have to be a nonfiction. It could be a fiction book.
But it's called Lilac Girls. It's about World War II. It's one of the best books I've read about that time period.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just, the way it's written is very inspiring, I guess. It is a little challenging to get into, but once you get into the story, it's a little bit better.
All right.
And then obviously Hot Mess. That was the last nonfiction I read cover to cover.
Okay.
And obviously I'm going to bump you up a little bit there, but yeah, it was a good read. It didn't feel like a nonfiction book. So if you're not into nonfiction, you can get through it.
Oh my
because
God.
It doesn't feel
there's
like
no
a
big words.
book.
There's no big words in my book.
Well, there's it's not mentally taxing. And I think that's why I don't like nonfiction, because I'm mentally taxed on other things in my life. So reading a nonfiction book is like mentally taxing because I have to think about it. And usually I'm reading at the end of the day when I'm really tired, and big words are not my friend then.
Yeah, I got you.
And I do have a third one.
Go ahead. I'm all ears.
All right. You ready? It's called Counting Dragonflies. If you have a teen or tween in your life.
I feel like I heard of this book.
It's by Dr. Melanie McNally.
Okay.
And she's a Gen Z therapist.
Ooh.
So yeah, she wrote this book and it's very good. It's for tweens or teens. However, parental warning here. You do want to read it first. There's a lot of hard topics in it. So you do want to read it first. It's fiction, but you want to read it first.
Oh, it's a fiction book.
It's a fiction book. Yeah, it's fiction.
Okay.
So, you do want to read it, but.
Gotcha.
In case your kids are like, well, what does this mean?
Oh, gotcha.
What do you think about this, Mom? So it's one of those that, you should read first.
All right.
There's also a workbook that goes with it.
Ooh, all right. Good to know. That's great tips because I'm out of that hole.
Yeah, tween or teen. That's a really good book for a tween or tween. Teen or tween.
Say that 10 times fast.
I can't. I'm out.
I know. And then finally, in this season, in this holiday season, in this season of your life, where do you feel the most organized and where do you feel like a bit of a hot mess?
Well, right now I am pretty much done shopping. I have a couple more things to get, stocking stuffers and things like that. And then I'm going to be wrapping. So that I'm really organized with. And you can see behind me, I have some holiday decorations.
I love it. It looks so festive.
Thank you. But what you can't see is the 15 boxes of Christmas stuff that I've just pulled things out of that I'm not really sure when I'm going to get to them because I've been very busy. So getting through just that. And I try when I open boxes from last year, I try to am I really going to hang on to this for another whole year? And I'm trying to organize and purge and so that it's more streamlined because no one needs 15 boxes of Christmas decoration. Well, I do, but that's only
I agree.
Like my house to look like a Hallmark movie channel.
Well, it does.
Movie.
From what I can see, it does. And it's funny that
the rest of it doesn't yet.
But it's funny that you say that because right before we were hopping on, I had wrapped up one thing and I literally had probably about 20 minutes before we had to hop on this call. And I said, you know what? I have 3 bins. I've been decorating in stages and so I have bins and I kind of try to put away my Christmas decorations from the previous year by room. So I could just put that bin in that room. And I was able to just unload a bin real quick and decorate. So I quick decorated my mantle. Really, it was great. And it was this time that I would have just scrolled on social media or, just done some BS stuff to pass the time, but I was actually able to be productive. So for anybody that is, again, listening to this in real time, I think it's, even if you don't have a whole afternoon or weekend or whatever, and you want to do it just a little bit here, a little bit there, and it'll get done.
We actually have a kids tree. So the kids have been taking out their ornaments and putting it on their tree. Because this is my nice, pretty tree.
I was going to say, it's beautiful.
It's my nice, pretty tree. They're crappy, handmade, whatever little ornaments that I can't wait to throw out are on their tree over there, but you can't see them.
Well,
I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
You post it in the group. Just post it in the group.
Oh my gosh. It's a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. For sure.
I'm sure.
But I'm just have at it. That's your way to decorate. Go ahead. I'm not moving an ornament. I'm not touching it. You decorate it how you want. And that's my pro tip. Just let the kids have their own tree to decorate how they want. You can have the pretty tree over here.
I love it. Put that in a quote and share it on Instagram. Done.
Will do.
Okay, perfect.
Will do.
Kimberly, let everyone know where they can find you. Because again, you do have your own social media business.
My own thing.
Yeah.
SheRisesSocialMedia.com. That's my website. Mm-hmm. It's kind of going through an overhaul right now. So if you can't get on right away, that's why. And I'm at the Mrs. Herman on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but not really.
She's also on the she's also on
I'm on TikTok at the same handle.
Just send me all that stuff. So put it in the show notes. So
I will.
And you can also just DM us if you need to find her.
You can DM us and I'll see it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on and co-hosting with me. It was fun. Again, fridge organizing doesn't seem like a super sexy topic, but I feel like it's something everybody struggles with. So let's talk about it, True. All right. Well, if this is your first time tuning in, thanks so much for being here. Follow us all over at Simply Be Organized. We have a Facebook group called This Organized Life Podcast. Make sure you click the follow, subscribe, whatever. We're on YouTube, so check us out there if you'd like to see pictures of Kimberly's pretty Christmas tree. And we'll be back next week with another episode of This Organized Life. Until then, I'm Lori Palau. Peace out.